So hello and welcome to Gentle Yoga for All Levels. Today we're going to work up into a pose that's not so gentle. It's called Dancer's Pose. And we'll be spending this hour going through all of the components that stretch our quadriceps, our hip flexors, our shoulders, and strengthen our back muscles to prepare us for this final pose. So all you'll need today is a strap, and preferably a strap that you can create a little loop in the end with. Before we get to that, let's take our seat, close our eyes, and take deep breaths. Allow yourself to land here, this little place and time that we've carved out for ourselves, for breath, for mindful movement, for opening spaces in our bodies, and for being together. As you take these first deep breaths, checking in with your body, I'd like you to just feel the presence of the word yes. The inhalation can feel like a yes, like an allowing and opening. And then notice the presence of the word no. No can be a closing, like a boundary, a layer of protection. So as you breathe in and out, I'd like you to just notice the parts of your body that in this very moment are saying yes. And the places in your body, perhaps where there's an injury or an ache or a pain. And the places that are just saying no right now. As we move through each of the postures today, I invite you to come back to this simple inquiry. Where is the yes for me, and where is the no? Making a commitment to really honor the whispers of the body and the places where the body says that's enough. Hearing that communication and responding. So we'll need to spend a lot of time today opening up shoulders. So let's begin right now. Bring the arms behind you as if you had a giant beach ball in your hands. And take a few deep breaths there. Lift your chin and just feel the way the back of your shoulders are strong. Front might feel a little tight. Where here is a yes for your body, and is there an edge where your body says that's enough? Stop right there. So then turn the palms out and start to sweep the arms up overhead. Stretch as tall as you can, thumbs back, and then turn the palms down again, come back to that beach ball. So as we turn the palms up, this is going to feel a little bit like snow angels, but with the arms moving behind us in an action called shoulder extension. It's an unfamiliar position to our bodies because we live with the arms on the front of us all the time. Let's just start to warm up in that new range of motion. One more time. And release your fingers down. Roll the shoulders a few times. Just notice them waking up. Bring your hands to your knees. Another component we'll need today is back strength. So on the inhale, I'd like you to just pull into a seated cow. Chest forward, belly forward, back muscles strong. And check again, where is the yes? And where is the no? Where do I meet an edge where my body says that's enough? then let's move with our breath, rounding on the exhale and gently arching on the inhale. Just take your time up and down the spine. And coming upright, relax the shoulders again. Find your neutral spine. Let's come around to a tabletop position. And moving in that same way, cat and cow, but first coming into cow, and we're going to hold. Again, where is your yes and where is your no? And then start to move from the tailbone, snaking the way up to the back of the head. Head moves last. Notice if there's any tendency to force or strain, and see if you can make this a little softer. And the next time the back rounds, let's take the knees wide and press back into child's pose, reaching the arms way up in front of us. Rock your hips from side to side. Let your chest come down closer to the ground. Stretch out as long as you can. And then let your elbows rest on the mat, kind of bringing the elbows back closer. Check in there. Slide your hands back by your knees, so maybe now your head can touch the ground, and reach your arms behind you. So here again, this sensation of a giant beach ball behind us. And then let's make those snow angels. Turn the palms up, sweep the arms forward. Your fingers can kind of crawl across your mat. And then back behind you, an unfamiliar range of motion. Where is the yes and where is the no? Pausing with the arms behind, you can interlace your hands or just reach toward that beach ball. Breathe deeply here. And then let's place our hands again on the floor, coming up to a tabletop position. And tucking our toes, lifting hips. Let's lift into downward facing dog. You can also stay on your forearms if that feels better. So just pedaling the heels, nod your head yes, shake your head no. This pose is always, it should always feel like just coming home to your body. So if anything hurts or is sharp, honor your body's whispers. We will slowly walk our feet to our hands. Let's lift halfway, take a nice deep breath in. And here again is that strength position in the back that we call cow. Pull your shoulders back and down and just pause in that strength. Exhale to a forward fold and let those muscles soften and relax. And then we'll go again. Inhale into that strength. Exhale to fold. One more time, lift and lengthen. And fold. Bending our knees, let's reach the arms up overhead. Take a nice deep breath, arms up. Nice high lift. And again, these snow angels, palms pressed down and back towards that big beach ball. Turn your palms, lift up. Our shoulders are going to be so happy when we're done today. There's a lot of work before we get there. One more time, arms reach behind, pause again to just feel the strength in the back, the opening in the front. And then relax your arms at your sides, float the palms forward. Let's go through a couple of sun salutations. We need to build some heat to get deeper into these muscles. So palms turned up, inhale, lift. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. And exhale, downward facing dog. Gliding our bodies into plank pose, knees or toes, lower halfway down. And then lower all the way, come up to either cobra or tops of the feet, up dog. And stepping back, downward facing dog. Everybody join me with a couple of deep sigh breaths. And feet walk to the top of the mat. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Rise up, everybody. Arms come back like snow angels. And hands to heart. Beautiful. One more time. Rise high. Bow low. Lift halfway. Step back and take a vinyasa. Knees or toes. This is gentle yoga, so you can stay gentle, but you can also throw in some push-ups if you want a little more heat. Breathe in, breathe out. And slowly bring the feet to the hands, lifting halfway. Exhale, fold. With knees bent, move from the hips, come up and out. And bring your hands to your heart. All right, come back to the beach ball, arms behind. One of the things we need in this pose is glute strength. So we're just gonna play with a little bit of a glute lift right here. So standing on the right foot, left toes pointing back, chest lifted. Just gonna lift that back leg and lower it. Lift and lower. So playing with balance, feeling the strength in the glute that it takes to lift that leg. Trying to find the place where there's no strain for the low back. Just strength. And relax the body. And we'll switch. Find your big beach ball, chest open. Opposite foot goes back. So really rooting down. I'm standing on my left and I'm gonna lift and lower the right. So you can lean forward slightly. But in our final pose, we really wanna feel the strength of the back matching the strength of the glutes. And relax your body. Okay, having fun now, right? Reach the arms high. Bow low. Take a moment to feel stretch now across the glutes and the hamstrings. Let your body drape down. Hands come to the mat. Let's lower our knees. And this is the first place we'll use a band. So I'd like you to put your band around your left foot. So if you have a little loop at the end, it doesn't have to be super tight, but it's just gonna come around the ankle. And then we're just gonna lay down on the floor on our bellies. So before we do anything with the strap, let's turn our foreheads down to the ground. Bring the arms behind you. Palms face down as the arms lift up. So there's that beach ball feeling. Lift your torso to match your arms. And if your lower back says it's okay, lift your feet also. So you're coming into locust pose. We have 3 of the components of our dancer's pose right here. Just breathe. Strong back. And then release, turn one cheek to the ground and wiggle out your hips. So let's take this strap in our left hand and you're just gonna pull your left foot up off the ground. Your band is just coming right up over your shoulder. And I want you to just use the band to give your quadricep a really nice stretch. It's kind of passive. You don't have to use any muscles. The band is doing the work. I'm up on my elbows a little bit, so see if you can find something that feels good right there. So is this a yes? Is there any part of this that feels like a no to your body? If you'd like to go a little farther, draw your belly in, lift your arms so the strap comes behind you, and come into a little bit more of a back bend. Listening to the whispers. So you're almost in a kind of a bow pose. We're just using this strap, and you can rock a little bit, breathe, and release. And wiggle out your hips and turn your head the other way. Let out a sigh. Leave the strap on your ankle, but kind of push it aside. Let's come up to tabletop and then move into cat. The opposite of where you just were, maybe rock side to side. Give your back muscles a little break. And then we'll come into spinal balance. So another glute strengthener. You can leave the strap on the leg, left leg back, right arm forward. And how about just some little like pulses or lifts through that left glute? All right, and then we're gonna bend that left knee again. Take your strap over your, let's scoop it behind the head so it's gonna come over your right shoulder. And now you're just pulling that band out overhead and pulling the knee up. Should be getting a nice little quadricep stretch with some core strength. A little bit of balance. You can work to kick the foot a little higher, which is going to feel like a nice stretch in your chest. Release the band, both hands down. Let's come back into child's pose. Give it a little rest. Might have to loosen up your wrists. And we'll do one more thing while we're here. Come back up to the knees, hands on the mat. Lift your left knee, left foot, and then reach your right hand towards that foot. And you might grab a hold of the strap here, or you might take a hold of your ankle. I'm just gonna breathe, reach. Yes and no. Really aware. And then come back to the center, lower the knee. All right, that leg's been behind us for a while, so let's just step the left foot forward, come down into a lunge. So a little release across the hip, the glute, and the opposite hip flexor. And while you're here, you can loosen the strap and remove that from your left foot. Let's move forward and back a few times, hamstring to hip flexor. And just see if you feel something happening deep in that hip. And go ahead and come back to tabletop. So now we'll take the band, we'll do all of that on the opposite leg. So the band now goes around the right ankle. And once you have that band around the ankle, go ahead and come down to your belly. And take a moment here to just feel your body relaxing again to the ground. Let's snow angel the arms behind us. Find that beach ball. Palms turn down, the chest lifts up. So now we've added in back strength. And if your lower back says it's okay, lift your legs also. Come into locust pose. Deep breath. And let's release, turn one cheek, wiggle your hips. And then the band will now come over your right shoulder, come up onto your elbows a bit, and just begin to pull that right foot up. We're looking for a gentle quadricep stretch. So you can kind of move in and out. Use your breath. If you'd like a little more active stretch, lift the knee, stretch the arms overhead. One is gentle, one is active. They're both good. As long as you feel that yes in your body. We're just asking permission today instead of forcing. Let's release that tension and we'll bring ourselves up to a tabletop position and just round your back. Just come into cat, a little opposite of where we just were. Moving into spinal balance. So the right leg comes back, left arm forward. Find your balance here. If this hurts your right wrist, come onto a fist instead. And then let's do little lifts through the right glutes. Low belly in. Everybody breathe. And then we'll take this strap. It's going to come up over the left shoulder, kind of a little cross body. And we'll start to tug so that the right knee bends behind us. And just find the length that you need to come into this kneeling version of dancer. Quadricep and hip flexor stretching, back is strong. A little shaking going on. And then release. Come back to child's pose, give the back a rest. Let your arms sweep behind you. Snow angels, come to that beach ball again. And circle back till your hands touch the mat, press to tabletop. And then without the strap in our hand, we will lift the right knee. Left arm reaches back toward that foot, and maybe it holds. Listen to the whispers in your body. Excuse me. We're doing some deep work in the shoulder and the hip and the low back are the bosses. They get to tell us yes or no. Let's release. Go ahead and tuck your toes, lift your hips, downward facing dog. And we'll just keep the strap around the right ankle as we walk our hands back toward our feet. And just let the head hang down, come into a forward fold. Let all the breath go. And then lift halfway. Slowly reach the arms high. And bring hands to heart. So if that band is bugging you, you can take it off. We're just going to do a few standing postures before we get back to that band. So we're going to do those snow angels. Arms come up and then arms press down. Arms reach up and arms press down. One more time, reach high. Press down and back, and either pause right here, beach ball, or interlace your fingers. Either way, just chest lifts up, back comes into a little bit of an arch. Find your breath. And then softening the knees, hinging from the hips, chest expansion, forward fold. Full, slow breath. Lowering the hands to the hips and then bring them right to the shins, come to your half lift. And with soft knees, let's rise high. Placing our hands on the back hip pockets, press your hips forward. Come into a little bit of a standing back bend. Arms behind us, chest expanded. So moving between those two places, reach to your beach ball or interlace. Exhale forward. Inhale, and as you stand, hands press to the hips, chest opens. Exhale forward. Inhale, standing back bend. Do that one more time, my friends. Come forward. And your nice standing back bend. Beautiful job. Okay, so we have this strap around our right ankle. Let's bend the knee and reach down and grab a hold. So we can start right here, just both hands on that strap, and we can practice kicking that leg back. If you'd like to put one hand on a wall or a piece of furniture, you can. We're just telling the body what's coming. And then as that leg comes back, let's reach the left arm straight out in front of us. And now just start to pull with the band, just pull that foot up and down. Come into a quad stretch, nice and easy. And this may be our dancer's pose for the day, just this. And then we're just gonna lift that leg. Let's glide our hands so that the strap comes up over the right shoulder. And now we can just gently pull into a little bit more of a back bend. The knee lifts, spine lengthens. This hand can be on furniture if you like. Just a warm up. And let's release. Stand on the ground with both feet. Feel the right, feel the left. Before we get to the other side, let's go ahead and take this strap off. We'll set it aside for a moment. We're going to do a little bit of a sideways release before we go left side. So turn to the side of your mat, put a nice bend in your knees, and let's sweep up and circle sweep down, sunflowers. Just let this movement be gentle and free and flowy. We've already been doing quite a bit of strength work for a gentle Monday. So move with your breath. Get all the stuck energy unstuck. Maybe a little faster. And really exhale, force some breath out. 3 more. Good. And then let your body open in all directions. Breathe deep. You might feel a little tingling in your face or your fingers or your toes. And then slowly lower your arms and bring your feet together. All right, let's take that strap around our left ankle. And we'll do warm up for dancer. So we'll just start with this band coming up over the left shoulder. You can hold on to a wall or furniture if you like, and you're just gonna lift and lower. Lift and lower. And then when that knee comes up to a place where you feel comfortable, maybe just pause. Just holding that stretch nice and easy. Just a preparation. Holding the band in the left hand, reach your right fingers forward. And breathe. If you'd like to tilt forward a little bit more, you can bring the strap up, keep it on your shoulder. Give yourself that little stretch. Warm up, preparation. And then we'll just release. Let's take the band off. Come back to center, scoop it through a few times. All right, I think we are ready for full dancer's pose. If you'd like to continue using your strap, you can. Now you have several options and ways you can use that strap. Let's go 3 more times. All right, reach high, take a deep breath in. Exhale, slowly lower your arms. Come to one end of your mat, mountain pose. So we're gonna build this from the bottom up. Start by pointing your right toes back. So we've got glute strength first. Then we're gonna turn our right palm up to the side and reach that arm behind us. So your palm is gonna be facing out. We've been doing beach ball. This is the opposite. Left arm points to the wall in front. Once you feel stable and steady here, bend that back knee. And this might be your dancer's pose for today. You could also return to the strap. If your shoulder says it's okay, find the inside of that back ankle. Either stay here or begin to kick. Foot into the hand. Eyes resting on one point. Try not to move too fast. Remember, if you fall, you get bonus points. That means you're trying something new. You're out of your comfort zone. Try kicking into the hand a little bit harder, and that can kind of help you counter balance. Couple more breaths. Kick and reach and kick and reach. And come back home. Whew, and exhale. Let's clear it out. Feet wide. Nice, easy sunflowers. So while we're breathing out here, my friends, do me a favor and just breathe out any self-judgment, any expectations. Just breathe it out. Second side is a new opportunity. We'll do 3 more. Lift up and hold. Take a deep breath in. And slowly lower your fingers. All right, nice job, everybody. Second side, here we go. Root down through the right foot, left toes point back. So find that glute strength. Take a tiny back bend. Right arm reaches forward. Left arm opens up. This is a wonderful starting place. If you'd like to play with balance, bend the left knee. Reach toward the ankle. You could use your strap. If you're getting a green light, find the inside of your left ankle. Begin to kick. Eyes on one point. Steady, smooth breathing. Dancer's pose. If you fall, try again. You have lots of time. Set it up all the same way. Palm holds the inside of the ankle. Kick, kick, kick. Breathe. A little playful posture. Oh, and when you've had enough fun, come back to center. Let's do some more scoops. I'm just gonna let it go. Big exhales. Whatever happened or didn't happen, blow it out. 3 more. And reach high, take a deep breath in. Exhale slow. Fingers to your sides. Good, keeping your feet wide. Let's turn toward the right foot. So you're gonna be in a right lunge. Come all the way down, drop that knee to the ground. We're through with the work. Let's just stretch. Let the hip flexor find more length. Ease back into that hamstring. Fingers forward, spine long. Deep breaths. And switching sides, hands to the inside of the foot. Left foot comes forward, down into your easy hip flexor stretch. Feel what you're feeling. Let breath move into the spaces. And slowly shift back, hamstring. Breathe bigger, exhale more. And find your way to tabletop for one more round of cat and cow. What do you notice now in your back after all that work? Are there any new places of awareness? And then let's bring ourselves around to a seat, taking the legs out front. We'll do a little flow here. Since we're good and warm and we've got our back and our shoulders warmed up, let's inhale the arms overhead. And we'll exhale, planting the hands behind us. The chest expands once again. This is familiar now, right? Point your toes. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Reach the arms up, deep breath in, and exhale over your legs. Let's go again. Reach high. Plant the hands. Point the toes and lift. Deep breath in. Exhale, lower. Scoop up. And fold. And we'll do that sequence one more time before we rest here. Lift. Lower. Press up. Plant your hips. Reach high and come over the legs into a forward fold. Let's walk our sitting bones back. Bend your knees if you need to. Grab a strap if you like. Exaggerate your breath. I'm doing a lot of opening for the front of the body. So closing the front here and opening the back. Let your breath do the work. And rising back up to a seat. Let's scoot our bodies forward, bend your knees and help yourself down to the ground. We'll draw the knees into the chest, give your back a nice little massage. Side to side, corner to corner. Again, all the work to open the front. Let's close the front and open the back. Bring your head, your forehead up to touch closer to your knees and squeeze. This pose is called Apanasana. It's the downward wind posture. So you just want to squeeze like you're getting rid of all the energy that you don't want. Release. Take the knees out wide, put footprints on the ceiling. You can pull down on the backs of your legs or grab your ankles or your feet. Happy baby. Squeeze across the hip crease. Just let your body move side to side. Filling up with breath and emptying out. And releasing the feet to the floor, we'll take a figure four. We'll give our glutes a nice little stretch here. So take the right ankle to the left knee, reach through that triangle and pull the legs in. You can place one hand on the right knee, gently press it away as you're pulling in with the left. You should feel something deep in your right hip, those rotator muscles. And if you'd like an added stretch, bring the left leg up straight. Getting a little bit of hamstring along the way. Just breathe. Feel what is the place that's a yes for your body. And then keeping the legs in the figure four, we'll move into twist. So arms open wide, shift your hips to the right just a bit and drop your legs to the left. And they can stay here in this figure four, foot wedged against the thigh, or you can cross your legs if you want to go a little deeper. Turn your head to the right, close your eyes and breathe. You've done all the work. Give your body a moment of rest. Feeling gravity. And let's find our way back to center uncross. Bring your arms in, find that planted foot position, and then we'll just switch. Left ankle, right knee. Reach through and pull in. And that's a great starting point. You might put a little bit of pressure onto the left knee. Another option is to straighten that right leg. So either way, you want your right leg coming towards you and your left knee pressing away. Slow, steady breath. let's find the figure four. Right foot comes to the ground, arms open. Shift a little bit to the left side and drop your legs to the right. And then turn your head away from your legs, looking over your left hand. Shoulder blades melt into the floor. Whole body just relaxing here, surrendering to gravity. You can start to relax your jaw, your mouth, your face. It's our final pose before we come into rest. Let out a big sigh. And start to move yourself toward Shavasana. Gathering any props that you like, maybe a blanket over you, a roll under your knees, a pillow, an eye pillow. How do you like to come into rest? As your body starts to relax here into the floor, as you feel gravity taking over, as you notice breath coming in and out like a big, beautiful wave, come into rest with the image of a dancer. Free, expressive, open, liberated, flowing. And put your face on this dancer. Regardless of how a pose turned out today, can you see yourself as free, expressive, and flowing like a dancer? Let's begin to take some deeper breaths. This big, beautiful wave washing over us and moving on. When you're ready, begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Turn your head to the left and turn your head to the right. Open and close your mouth. Let out a sigh. And start to stretch, bringing yourself over to one side and eventually back to a seat. As you come back to the seat, take one more round of that beach ball feeling, chest open. Turn your palms, reach up nice and slow. Look up at your hands and then watch as they glide right down in front of your heart. Thumbs on your sternum. Chin tucked slightly. Take a moment to thank yourself for showing up on your mat today. And another moment to take something with you as you roll up your mat. Did your body learn anything new today? Is there any way for you to take yes into your life today? And no. I am deeply grateful to each of you for sharing this practice with me. Namaste.